Daily Logic Check.
Welcome to another episode of Daily Logic Check. I'm Elizabeth Vargas, your host, with my co-host, Andrew Vargas. We've decided to try a new format for everybody because we have a fan favorite. So we brought him back due to popular demand, Steele Platt, founder of Yard House. Hi, Steele.
Hello.
One day we want you just to come on the set and be like, ah, and all these balloons come down. And it's like, Steele Platt. No? Like Ellen DeGeneres? No. Okay.
You need some fake applause noise, please.
Oh.
Yeah.
Luke, can you add that in post?
No, I can fix it in post.
We're gonna add post. No, it's cool. Today we were like, okay, we want Steele Platt back because everybody loved your story, building Yard House, and it was very compelling to a lot of people. I was shocked at how many people tuned in to listen to your story that just fell in love with you. They were, he's awesome, the 9mm, and homeless almost, and then he went back to bartending. And we had one particular fan, I should just say follower, who was really engaged in your interview, and he just absolutely loved the story of you making it, building what you built, you persevering, but then falling on your ass, accepting your fate, knowing you had to get back up, going to bartend again, sucking up that ego, and not listening to people around you, just actually taking advice from people that were smarter than, just the average Joe that said, go bartend, get a job. And then you ended up launching Yard House. And today I really wanted to emphasize, once you started Yard House, how did you do it? Now you've already got the work ethic down from your previous restaurants. You've already failed. Now you're like, I don't want to fail again. I've already been down that rabbit hole. So thank you for coming back today.
Sure, it's good to be back.
We need to get the rest of the story.
Yeah, we don't have your whole story.
We got the first half. Now we need the actual Yard House half.
Well, yeah, because he was one of the fans was like, or one of the followers was like, well, what did you do next? And I'm like, oh. He's like, you missed that part. I was like, oh, well, no, we're having him back. So we ended with the last episode with, now you have Yard House, but what happened after that? You launched your first one in Long Beach. And then how long did it take you to start being?
Well, I'd back up a little. It was like during the bartending phase, it was really grasping the concept, putting the business plan together.
Right. Okay.
So I went through that phase where I wrote the business plan, came up with the name. I remember the pad of paper. I had 15 different names on there, and I went around to friends and say, which name do you like best? And we ended up with the Yard House at the end, which was funny.
So you crowdsourced your branding.
Does it have any meaning? Or
just a 3-foot glass that you drink out of. And it was designed to hand to stagecoach drivers in the 1800s. So they wouldn't have to let go.
So that's what's called a Yard House was?
The yards, yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
But they would hand it, it's 3 feet long, so they would hand it to the stagecoach driver. So you wouldn't have to let go of his reins to drink water or whatever he's drinking, but it was just a long glass. So that's all.
So you came up with your brand by crowdsourcing. So you valued other people's opinions, which is awesome.
Oh, well, I think the one reason of my success is really bouncing ideas off of people, getting their opinions. I mean, you can't just close your eyes to that. So,
right.
So it was funny. I was riding my bike a lot to Long Beach from Huntington Beach.
Pedal bike or motorbike?
Regular bike. They didn't have electric bikes back then.
Now you have electric, or do you have?
So I used to ride there, and then I just kind of stumbled upon a location that said for lease, and I met with the landlord. Long story short, they did some back checks on me, what I did in Denver, and they thought I was great, and gave me the lease, and that's where it started. I was the first employee of Yard House. Nobody else was working for me. And raised some seed money from 3 different people. They only gave me like $50,000 each, which to me was a lot at the time because I had $0 in the bank.
What year was this again?
This is probably 1994, 95.
So that's a lot of money.
Yeah, $50,000 each. And that got me into the business plan and just getting some ideas and getting some real estate people, getting the drawings going. And then I went out for a raise of $400,000 to on the first Yard House for half.
Wow.
Half of that Yard House, and raised most of the money from people that lived in Long Beach.
How did you find, like you said you worked on the drawings, how did you find the architect? Would you just know people?
Architect I had in Denver from some of my other restaurants.
Oh, same one. Okay,
yeah.
so you just pulled
But
from
I got
the
space, so I know what the space looks like.
Right.
And then my idea was make the bar as big as you can.
Yeah.
And
Well, didn't you want to have as many beers? Wasn't that your
yeah, I
vision?
had 400 drafts on the original business plan.
How do you get that many? You got to be so busy because I mean, what they got 90 days before a keg is
Well, you don't
toast?
think about that. Well, to me, you got to be different. So in order to get sales, you got to take those risks, right, to generate some interest.
Toss some alcohol that goes bad just to keep.
But really, in the 80s, beer was in the back of the house. It was usually in the service bar. They had maybe one or two handles. So,
so you pioneered that
if
whole.
you remember, I had the boiler room in Denver that
Yep.
was 20 drafts, 80 bottles. So when I wrote this business plan for Yard House, I said 400 drafts. You know,
Just
I didn't even know
Go
there was
big or
400
go home.
beers,
100 million drafts.
But just walking
100
in and seeing
million.
400 handles of beer, you're going to
That's
say,
awesome,
crazy.
though.
I'm going to come back and tell my friends that's how you sell a beer.
Yeah.
But, so that I did that. It was too big for the space, so we had to reduce it. And we ended up with 250 handles, which was still a lot.
Of course, you're going to need a big bar and a lot of money to build that sucker.
Yeah.
And they do have the little pony kegs. I'm assuming that some of them you wouldn't do the big kegs and all of them.
Well, I don't think that way. I just think like they're all going to sell.
What was
We
your-
can get to that later, but the design factor was 250 center bar on the water.
That's awesome.
Where would you put all those kegs? How you had to have
I'll
it
tell you, I'll
stored?
get there. Just
Oh, sorry.
sit back, relax your show.
Sorry.
Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show right now.
I used to work, and our keg room was pretty big, and we only had like
Well, the keg room's a
10.
funny story. So I did the bar in the middle, and then we were in construction, and they knew where the keg room was going, but there was no drawings of how the beer was getting to the center of the bar. So I got a hold of the plumber. I'm like, hey, let's go underneath here. We'll put some conduits, and we'll put some beer lines in it.
Oh, smart.
So the keg room was 2 stories high, but it was just racks. So it was 2-story racks of beer. And we had probably 5 miles of beer line on the first
Whoa.
Yard House. And we had probably inside the keg room, we had probably over 300-400 kegs of beer.
Wow.
like half size.
Yeah. And we
That's
started
s-
slow. I think the first year we did $3 million. And, you know, it was
That's slow
Friday nights, you could shoot a
1993.
cannon through it. And 2-3 years later, we had a line out the door.
Did you have hot girls working there too, or was it just the beer?
Our thing was hiring people, anybody
people,
based on
yeah.
their personality mostly.
Okay. Yeah. And
Kind of
it,
more important.
because I've never known yard houses to be kind of like even though it's beer and party, like that's really your promotion. It was more,
Mm-hmm.
it was more of a classy atmosphere.
Well, the first Yard House was different. Our culture wasn't established yet. So we
Yeah.
had people in there with tattoos and
You're
their belly
diversified.
showing and things like that.
Yeah.
But once you get your culture gets created, the brand takes a life because you don't know what Yard House is until your
Right.
customers tell you what it is.
Yeah.
But my concept was just, 250 draft beers, great food, classic rock. It was that simple.
Huh.
So
Oh, you did the classic rock thing. That's great.
yeah, handpicked every song
Yeah.
every day.
So what you
Every day.
what you just
Every
said
day.
was you said you don't know the brand of your bar until your customers tell you.
We don't know what your brand is
Okay.
until you establish it. So nobody knows what Yard House
So
is.
you're just watching your customers, what they're
Trying to
establishing
adapt.
within
Yeah,
your environment.
The dog wags the tail. So I had a
Right.
lot of people come in and say, why are you playing classic rock? And I say, well, that's what I do.
Right.
But that's what Yard House plays. If you don't like it, you don't have to come.
Right.
Basically said that. So I stuck to it and played classic rock.
Yeah.
And then that creates its own people that get
Genre.
attracted to it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the food migrated over the years. We only started with 40 menu items and we ended up with like 120 over 5, 6, 7 years.
But when you started, didn't you have just bar food and then you kind of went to more gourmet, right? I mean,
Actually, the first Yard House had the tap room on the left when you walked in and the
Okay.
chop room on the right. And we had really high-end steaks
okay.
and wine, but the tap room was the casual room. But then the casual took over,
And both those concepts were yours trying to figure out what your brand
well, it was the Yard House, tap room, chop room, 2
Right.
rooms because of the space I picked. It was already there.
Okay.
And so I just let the tap room take over the
Right.
chop room. And I put, instead of really nice tables in there and cigars and wine, we just carried the concept all the way across to that room.
Oh, smart.
So that's basically the customer said, "This is what we want. You can make more room. We'll go."
Well,
here."
you got to read your customers
Yep.
all the time. I remember every Yard House that opened, I'd sit at the bar, I'd watch people order food, taste it,
Really?
and then right away you can tell them if they like the food. They go, "Wow, that's
Oh,
good."
Yeah. Oh,
Or
okay.
if they don't like it, they'll eat it and they'll back off a little. They'll go, "What the hell's that?" So I was the guy that really read their faces and looked at the customer. And
You were really involved.
we kept true to the concept
Yeah.
pretty much, but it takes really good people to do it. So I was lucky enough to find the right GM in the beginning, the right chef. We had some changes over time, but the culture was really created by just hiring really good people. And Yard House was lucky to have a lot of good people in the executive level all the way down. So once a culture is created, it attracts good people if you have good people.
Daily logic check. But you also, the reason you learned how to create a culture was because your previous experience, or did you have to keep educating yourself and going to friends and asking them how they do it in their restaurants, or how did you innately know how to create a culture? Because California is different than where you originally started. It's a whole different culture.
Well, again, it goes back to the people that were hired at the time.
Okay.
They came from different restaurant chains. And luckily,
you picked the right
I got
ones.
to hire, and we ended up with the good group of executives that all had good morals.
So you know how to hire.
Well, you got to know hire, and you have to know what's right, what's wrong. But I also, to grow a company, you have to let people do what they do best. So you kind of have to
Take a seat back.
Take a step back. And what
Trust
I learned
people.
in business school in Denver was, the best manager's one who manages least, if you think about it. So
Yeah.
But if you can find the good people to run a company, that was my job. So I was just the owner, not the manager.
Yeah.
But I was more on the finance concept and the growth and the music, obviously. But and the idea was kind of like mine, and that migrated over time. But to this date, I'd say when a Yard House opens, it's not far off from the very first one, 27 years ago.
Yeah, you kept the integrity of the brand throughout the entire process, and that's why you were able to, fast forward, sell it, the franchise.
Well,
for
I
such
think it was never franchised. They're all
not franchised,
corporately owned. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we owned every store, and I think at one time I had 120 investors.
Wow.
And like I said in the last episode, the landlords gave us a lot of money to build each store. But it's really building the team. And again, we're lucky we did Long Beach first, Costa Mesa second, Irvine Spectrum third, Rancho Mirage fourth.
Wow.
And it just kept growing. But it was a slow growth, and then it exploded.
Were you there at every single opening? And did you stay at the bar in every single one like you did the original one? Mm-hmm. Oh, so you were really hands-on.
Well, I was hands-on in deciding the location with the real estate team.
Okay, so you did that also. Wow.
Doing the initial layout with the architect, and then they polished it, did all the intricate work. And then, we had a team of people that trained everybody. Like I said before, it was about $1 million to open a Yard House, just for training.
Just to open it up without initial investment, $1 million.
And we take other employees from over the Yard Houses, put them there for so many weeks, months, whatever it takes to open.
And you wanted
so it just takes an enormous amount of manpower to get to this point, but also to really succeed.
And that's why a lot of restaurants fail because they never can get to that point.
Yeah.
And they
but
don't.
No one person can do it, is my answer. It's just not me. It's like a group of people. But you got to steer the ship.
But you were the one steering you were the one steering the ship.
Well, I think people under me were steering it too. But like if you take that step back, you let them steer the ship, but you're at 30,000 feet. If you're in a plane,
you got your big picture,
looking at the ship, making sure the ship's going the right way.
People with ships like you, don't they? It's my understanding that most people would build. This is how crazy hard of a hard worker you are, because most people are like, okay, I built this brand, now I'm going to franchise it out. We didn't franchise it. I know that's what I mean. You didn't franchise it. You did that's a lot of work still.
No, they're company owned, but franchise is you hand somebody
that's what I mean.
You teach
hand
them how
the
to
brand,
do it.
And then they do it themselves. But
Yard House is way too complicated for to hand anybody the keys. Yeah,
right.
Everything has to come from within.
That's a lot of work. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Well, one store at a time. I think the most stores we did in 1 year was 4 or 5 stores.
That's still a lot.
So we hired 250 people on an opening and train them for 2 to 3 weeks.
Did you eventually have to outsource training? Or
no, everything was in-house.
Everything was in-house?
Except real estate. I had a pair of guys that
found locations.
Well, they went around the United States looking for the right spots, and then I'd go out and fly and meet the landlord, look at the location. I'd walk into the space and say, this is the space, this isn't the space.
Did you ever pick a space that you had to move from, or are they all still originals?
They're all originals. I think only 2 have closed. The first one was San Diego, but it was there for 12 years, but had a sewer break in the basement. So we had to move out of there. And then the other one was Newport Beach, Fashion Island, but the lease was up.
Well, Oh yeah, that's right. You were in Fashion Island, but now you're in the Spectrum, or you always were in the Spectrum.
Always in the Spectrum, still though.
Yeah.
So that opened in 2001. Newport Beach opened in 2007.
I love the Spectrum one. I go to the Comedy Improv.
Yeah.
And I go and have a beer. I love it. And I sit there with all the noisy people, and they're all hackling. La, 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 la. And then we all go to the Improv, and we're all kind of like liquored up a little bit. It's fun.
But getting into the growth, once you do 1, 2 is hard, 3 is harder.
Yeah.
If you get to 4, then you establish your
system.
your systems, and then you move into an office. And I remember our office was 4 offices with like the 4 guys that I worked with, and then
Were you
at
proud?
the end it was
We're
20.
like, wow, we have an office.
At the end, there's 100 people in the office.
Oh.
That's how far it grew, in 24,000 square foot office. So
Wow. And that was for how many when you were, how many by then?
with the big
restaurants?
office, I think we're probably around. I'm thinking we were at probably 16,
So with
14.
so 6.
Well, it started in 4 offices. We just expanded. We took the whole
But
floor.
so you're saying is when you had 16 yard houses, you had a back end management or like a not
Well, you
a
had
rest-
departments. You had an accounting department,
Marketing.
HR department.
with 500 how many
Marketing.
people in it,
At the peak, it was probably 100 people in the office. Yeah.
Jeez,
just to run 14 restaurants. That's
No,
how
no,
much
no.
you
It
have.
just grew to that.
Okay.
I can't remember if we were at 20, 25.
Okay.
But we
So that's
moved.
still a lot of people.
It just so every time you open a restaurant, you kind of hire 2 or 3 people for the office. That's how it goes.
That's insane.
But CFO, COO, president, head of marketing, head of real estate, head of construction,
How old?
accounting.
What year was this? When you got out to 100 people? How many did you have?
I'm just guessing. We sold half in 16. We had the office.
I love that he doesn't even know how many yard houses he had when he got.
Well, no, but
That's how
my
successfully-
office grew 6 times. So
Wow.
we took 4, and then we added that room. Then we
Yeah.
added that room.
Yeah.
Then we added that room. Then we added that room. And then our lease was up, and then we went across the street and took the whole floor of another building.
So he's really good at expanding. Andrew, note to self, he's good at expanding. Like with his first yard house, he had like 3 different places. Then he just expanded it into one.
Well, it gets a life of its own. You do 1, you do 2, then you get a lot of interest. Landlords are knocking on the door.
And you're
gotta-
able to grow with your company, and I guess the level of stress seems really significant when it comes to that type of growth. How do you handle that?
Well, it's hard to like imagine like at some point any given day there's 10,000 people with beer in their hands
Yeah,
on a
that's
Friday night in a yard house.
How many
10,000
lawyers did you
people
have?
drinking? What?
How many lawyers did you have?
On call.
Yeah, I was going to say,
Lots
because
of lawyers,
when you're dealing with liquor and bars,
We didn't
and
have any
people,
in-house lawyers. We had them.
Retained.
You had firms.
Yeah, your insurance company has their lawyers that deal with the insurance claims.
Okay.
But we had an in-house lawyer, but didn't work for us. We called them,
Okay.
dealt with them all the time.
But I mean, beer, I
We had
guess.
different lawyers for different things.
But your culture is that kind of the you don't have like the beer fighting, bar hugging people. You actually have people eating and families and bar and drinking.
No, there's
Was there?
okay. Just imagine having 40 bars on a Friday night.
Yeah, I know.
There's- yeah,
That's why I said your stress
40
level. I would be like,
40 times 300-400 people in each bar. So
did you
There's
ever?
going to be idiots.
when Friday rolled around, were you excited because you're going to make all the money, or were you like, oh my god, please let nothing happen to any of the restaurants?
well, that's ongoing, but I always looked for those sales. I remember the day the company did the $1 million in one day. That was exciting.
Which
So-
one was that?
No, as a company.
as a company.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of sales.
So I got daily reports, and we started with 1. I had my Excel sheet, and they grew to 5, and then 10, and then I can't tell you when the first day. I know I was in the Tequila Tower when we hit $1 million because I remember looking at it.
That is amazing.
Yeah, so that was like a milestone, and then
You've been to
I
the
always
Tequila
dreamed of
Tower.
putting the name of my company on top of a building, so that happened in Irvine. So that was cool.
Oh, that is so cool.
But I'm more happy about how many jobs it's created, the teams we created. We were a really tight knit group. We had Harold and Carlito and Craig and Jeff, and were the main people,
Yeah.
right and left hand man. But they're so good at what they do.
Yeah.
They make me look good, right? So
Well, and
I'm nothing without those guys. And a concept really has to be, I think, executed properly. So
Mhm.
I had the idea, but it takes a lot of people to make it happen, not just one.
But you put your ego aside and you let other people tell you what the best avenue of execution is for your employees to keep them happy, right? You didn't just say, I know everything.
Well, it was a process. When I started in Denver, I had an ego.
Okay.
So this is my place. I didn't really have a lot
because you said, fuck it, I just got up and I left and I just left everything.
Well, that's a different story.
Oh,
Well,
sorry.
it's the same
that's
story, but
that's the same story, but different brush. Okay.
No, but in Denver, I didn't really have a lot of partners, investors. I had a lot of equity owners and employees. I mean, 10% of the company was owned. I gave to the managers and all key employees.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
But pretty soon the brand, the business takes its own life, right? So that's more important than anybody. So nobody should get in the way of the Yard House. Yard House is the most important thing, period. That's how you run a company.
Well,
but it took me a curve to learn that. I wasn't bad in the beginning, but it was like, look what I did. I built 2, 3, and 4, and then it's getting bigger. We got a lot of newspaper articles and things like that, but it's not about me. It's more about Yard House at that point. I mean, I have a story to tell, but Yard House is the entity I think that's most important if you want it to succeed. So.
That's what a lot of the entrepreneurs that we're meeting have said. They said, the business is for the people. The people that work with me are the people that help create that culture, that brand, and that success.
Yeah, one person can't do it.
Right. And you're open to that. I think that must be a formula that, you hear about these young entrepreneurs that are out there and what do you call those coin star people? What are the coin people? Bitcoin. They become these really wealthy people from paper and their egos get really, really big and then they treat everybody like shit and then nobody else, then they think they're awesome. And there's this atmosphere right now in the world where they think they did it all themselves, or people that have built something, anything. You name somebody who's done that lately, whatever.
Well, I have some quotes I did. Like I said, the day you think you've succeeded, the day you think you've succeeded is the day you fail. So think about it.
Yeah, you said that last time.
Yeah.
Right?
So if you get to that point where look what I've done, then your guards go down. You don't pay attention to what you're doing, and that's when it starts sliding.
Oh, well, also you don't have an ego. You're very humble for what you've created.
Well, everybody has an ego, but you have to manage your ego. I guess.
Didn't let it get in the way of your business succeeding.
But you also didn't treat people like crap when you went to your office. I can't imagine you walking into a restaurant and somebody did something wrong and just being like, psh,
No, never like that. I always enjoy talking to the bartenders and everything like that. I let my executive group talk with the managers, and they were good with that. We had great managers, great help, great staff, team members, whatever you want to call them. But I was just more of an observer most of the time.
You're the good cop. There was a bad cop.
I would never walk into the Yard House and tell anybody what to do.
Okay, so you didn't do that.
You weren't in there.
No, I was sitting at the bar having a drink.
Really? Yeah. Okay. Well, that also helps with morale because you're like the founder.
And you trust your managers to do their job.
Totally trust them, but they had the power to kick me out if I was doing anything wrong. So, but I'm sitting there, I'm just watching, and then the next day I'll take my notes and I'll tell Harold or these other people. I say, hey, I saw these things, and then it gets distributed down and changes are made and things like that.
Daily Logic Check. Was there anything during your tenure with Yard House, during building this business with the economy, that you thought maybe some of them were going to have to be shut down during that time frame? Was there anything, did you ever have to experience a government doing anything or anything like that politically that might have closed a few down?
9/11, 2001.
Okay.
We just opened Irvine Spectrum and then the planes hit the towers.
Really?
Yeah, so the business went from that to zero.
Wow.
So as a company, we had to tighten our belts, no more raises, kind of, really adjust and make some good decisions. Other than that, I wasn't around for COVID, so I sold it before that. But trying to think of anything else, I don't.
But 9/11 is pretty significant. So what happened? People just weren't eating out?
Everybody was scared. They just stayed home.
It was
for how long?
The market crashed, everything.
Yeah, it was a trickle down. So it was like a big earthquake in the country, right? And so everybody just kind of stayed home, didn't know what was happening.
home. I didn't have any money at the time, so I don't know how the
didn't know if
economy
they-
was
We weren't a
doing
Yard House.
because I was broke. I was broke. I
We
stayed
didn't know
home.
if you want to spend your money, save your money.
Right.
Is it safe? What's going on? Is there a war? You remember those days.
Yeah, just like COVID. When.
But long story short, it gradually came back, but you had to really, tighten your belts.
So there's only one, and right now with the COVID that hit, all the restaurants that shut down, it's unfortunate because they really made it impossible for them to get back up. So you're lucky, like at the time that happened to you, you didn't have
To deal with it.
Well, you had to deal with it, but
Not COVID, because you had already sold it by the time COVID hit.
no. I'm saying like
I think there's a lot of malfeasance in COVID where they wanted businesses to be
what I
closed,
mean is he didn't
right?
have that. 9/11 was actually something happened, but he could build himself back up. These people all just went out of business because there was nothing they could do.
Yard House made it through COVID.
Yeah, the government didn't say stay home.
Right, that's what I mean. Like you're very lucky that was the only.
But there were
thing.
so many government restrictions during COVID. I didn't go through it, but I can just see what I saw. That really, I think they intentionally prevented businesses from succeeding. Sorry to say.
And why did they do
transfer of
that?
wealth.
Well, look at Florida compared to California. Do you think that governor treated this state differently? I mean, his state differently than our governor?
Oh, absolutely.
So there's the difference. So in some states they thrived, some states they succeeded, and I think in other states the government intentionally caused a lot of businesses to shut down.
And why do
Sorry
you
to
think
say,
that is in California? They did that. Why?
It's just that's a deeper show.
Is that a different podcast?
That's very, very deep because it is. It's all everybody.
You said transfer of wealth. What does that
Well,
mean?
you have a lot
What
of
do you mean?
conspiracy theories. You can't.
So
nobody can put their hand on it.
In
You just
COVID,
assume.
corporations were able to stay open. Mom and pops had to close. So therefore, people stopped using mom and pops. They went out of business. And now all we get to go to is like a Walmart, Amazon. So they transferred the wealth of those people to the uber rich people. It's kind of what COVID did. Even if it wasn't intentional, that was the result of COVID.
I think there's a big picture. We just don't know what all the moving parts are yet. But
In 2050, 2080.
to me, it's rather obvious what happened. So.
Well, no, so for my take on the whole COVID thing was when they were shutting down all the mom and pop stores and telling our stores and restaurants just saying, you can't. And then all of a sudden they're like, but you can get your food from this big conglomerate. But and then all the government officials had invested in that conglomerate. You're like, wait a minute.
Well, there's numerous examples of flipping.
So I always tell people,
examples.
follow the money. If they mandate something that's this extreme, follow the money. Who has an investment in that mass company?
It's
Who has an
hard to
investment
find.
in
All I
that?
remember is when the line flattens in 2 weeks.
Oh,
What?
That kind of rounds the whole thing up.
What happened?
remember at the very beginning, they're like, we just need
We're just going to shut down for a week.
2 weeks, flatten the curve.
Well, yeah,
Just
they were
wait
just
till it
warming
flattens.
you in.
All my friends got mad at me because I was
2
like,
years
that's
later.
not going to happen.
So-
I was like,
No, because they saw the money rolling in. They had to keep
No,
it
everybody
shut.
believed what they were saying in the beginning, and you have to if there's a pandemic.
yeah, if people were dying in the
but
streets,
then you
we
start
believe it.
going, wait a minute,
Yeah.
this is smelling fishy.
Well, yeah, like.
That line's not going to flatten.
But I think it was basically at the end of the whole COVID situation, and I don't know what powers it be and why. I really feel that they were trying to, like you said, transfer ownership and power.
I don't think it was intentional. I think it was a nice.
It for sure was intentional.
No, it became intentional eventually when you had so much time. But what I'm saying is originally it was for everyone's best good. We don't know how bad this is, but once they figured out that it wasn't as bad as they thought it was, they didn't care and they just kept.
Yeah.
Do you
For
think
2
government
years.
officials were going to
But every
keep
state
us?
was different. Every governor was different. You have to remember the governors were in charge.
Yeah,
So-
not the president, the
Yeah.
governors.
Was that why?
That's why
But
California is different.
I would
than Florida.
flip it since I'm sitting here. It's the people that survived through that. That's what if I was in that situation, I wasn't, I'd figure out how to survive. I mean, how to succeed, overcome things.
Yeah.
And that's where a lot of restaurants did takeout,
Yeah.
their takeout
Ghost
business.
kitchens.
And now they
Ghost
still have their
kitchens.
takeout in addition to all their business coming back.
Yeah, which
So-
is great.
But a lot of restaurants closed. A lot of them.
Yes.
So
Didn't at one point in time, was it New York or was it LA that lost something like 40% of all their restaurants?
mm-hmm.
In
New
the
York
city,
lost-
out of, I mean, that's like never opened
thousands
again.
of jobs. And then it changed the whole work attitude.
Everyone's getting paid more to stay at home. That's
Well,
what we
everybody
had.
got used to staying on their couch. Yep.
Yeah.
And
we had
that's
hard-
still a problem today.
Right, the couch potato culture
Well,
is huge right now. It's
when
insane.
COVID was on its big, we still, I helped run a paint company, and we couldn't get people to come to work because we couldn't pay them enough to make it worth it because they were making more money sitting at home than going to work.
Yep.
And it's like, how do you compete with that? There's not enough money for us to pay you more, so it's like trying to get people.
Little taste of socialism for
Yeah,
everybody.
and it just.
But also, it's interesting because right now, we're a lifestyle podcast on we like to hear both sides. I'm independent, and there's Republican and Democrat, and they're constantly arguing about the pandemic being good for the economy, then the pandemic being bad for the economy. Okay, we don't even know what the outcome is yet, because supposedly, I was just told by Dr. Barkey, they're still mandating COVID rules and regulations to college students to get their master's degree to be a doctor.
Depends what state you're in.
Depends on who's making the money. Or how is this working?
What university you're at?
But to me, it just follows
it all
the
ties
money.
to the where it's red. Is it blue? Liberal?
Really?
Conservative? All those things.
So
all
what
those
do you think? Do you
decisions.
think that Bobby Kennedy has any chance? He's independent, so or you
Chance
think,
of winning? No,
no.
but he has a chance of changing the outcome.
You think so? Because there is now another party, which.
But I think the more people accept him, the more a place will be created for him. Maybe not president, but something else.
Yeah, maybe as a top advisor or something like that.
Yeah.
But you got to appreciate his input.
But I think also we have there's a big issue with red or blue, and both sides have some points that make sense, but for the most part, the divide is extremely powerful right now, and
They're pushing it.
but they used every political angle as far as different groups to win, like the red and blue.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to say
conquer.
red or blue, but they use
Divide and conquer. That's literally
But they're causing people to fight, and it's not working anymore. So now these parties are going crazy because these little groups that they pick to fight against each other isn't working. So what do you think the next step is politically that they're going to try and, besides another pandemic? I've been told that we're going to have another pandemic just for the heck of it.
They keep
I'm like,
trying.
Okay, so we have to be
everything's
lazy
coming
again?
down to the presidential election. That's the focus. So,
But what do you think is going to be the next step of them trying to sway liberal or Republican?
They're spending probably tens of millions of dollars each side to figure out how to win the election, and we don't know what they're going to come up with. I mean, it's been putting people against other people. We don't know yet, and you'll start seeing really soon. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, everyone's going to get outraged about something stupid, and it's them pushing it.
But still, has it always been this way as far as an election year, kind of this big fight between red and blue? Or is it just because of social media? We hear it, like I hear it, for some reason, if I click on one thing on TikTok, I'm a Republican. But if I click on another thing, I'm getting a liberal feed. So I don't understand.
well, how far back do you want to go?
Yeah, because I mean, here's the thing: is okay. So I'm 40, I'm 48.
I think it's always been like that.
So I'm 48 years old, and probably haven't been paying attention to politics for only like 10 years.
I haven't either. Yeah.
So I'm more. I noticed that the older you get, the more you care, and the more you have the energy to care.
Well, that's true. I care more now.
And because you realize, okay, I've got a daughter. What am I going to leave for her? And it doesn't. It's crazy. But the more I look at the past, this is exactly the same thing they've ever done. They just got better tools to try to convince us of their.
Well,
right.
I think the system's lost its integrity, morality,
Thank you.
honesty.
I believe that as
I don't
well.
think anybody cares what they say anymore. There used to be a time when if you called somebody in politics a liar, it was a big thing. Now everybody lies, as far as I'm concerned. So the whole system has really gone to shit.
How are they going to? I mean,
But pendulums change. You got a pendulum, and it comes back. So,
Right.
Yeah, that's the way I like it, or at least the way I've been noticing. I personally don't think if either side takes control for too long, turns to shit, and it kind of needs to just kind of go swerving down the middle.
Well, I think the country has a pendulum from left to right.
Yeah, but that's
And-
that's
are
what
we
keeps
left
it.
right now or are we right now?
We're way left right
We're
now.
way,
way
left
left right
okay,
now,
So
and
now
we
we're
need to-
trying to sway it to the
we
You
right.
can really
Correct.
only come back. That's how a
Well, there's no
pendulum works.
going downhill from here. We're already in the shitter.
No, but a pendulum. So if you go way left,
yeah.
it's
It's
got to
more
come
work-
right.
Okay.
So
Any kind
it's
of
not going to come
pendulum-
all the way right, but it's just going to come back a little. So
Yeah, it takes a lot more energy. The further right you go, the more energy it takes, and eventually there's not enough energy, and it comes back.
So do you think that if we go further right, we're going to clean up Los Angeles and all the streets? Or how are we going to clean this mess up?
New York used
Whatever
to be,
just happened,
New
it's
York
a disaster.
used to be really bad too, and they've cleaned it all up, and now it's bad again. But
Okay. Yeah, that's what I was told. I was told it
bad
was like,
cities like San Francisco now that aren't what they used to be,
Right.
in LA is at some point become a really ripe opportunity for investment.
okay, so I was
Because the
told
real estate values are down, everything's
I
down.
was
Now
told
you can come in.
they
and
killed
and
all the
redo it.
farmers like they stopped pushing water to the farmers so they couldn't farm. They all went out of business. And then apparently some hedge fund groups came in and bought like hundreds of thousands of acres in California for cheap, like pennies on the dollar.
They're going to start farming.
And they're going to start farming now.
Because now they
and
got
now
water
they have
rights.
water
Yeah.
because they're seeding the clouds and now there's water. I'm like, how is this freaking possible that now
It's
they're
business. It's
seeding
everybody uses
Hey, so
it.
are they seeding clouds?
That's a form of entrepreneur.
Seeding clouds, I think that they can.
Dubai, they did, right? You saw
yeah, the
what happened there?
Dubai, they
No.
caused floods.
Yeah.
But it's flooded that much there before without seeding.
They
Andrew-
didn't read the recipe right.
Andrew,
I don't
they
think.
seed the clouds.
No, I know
He
they
doesn't
seed.
believe they
no,
do.
I know they seed clouds, but they don't seed the clouds to the point where they can make an entire
No,
country.
they screwed up and they overseeded it.
It doesn't work that way. You'd have to.
Andrew, you don't know that.
Yes.
Are you in the
I-
airplanes? that
I
are
heard,
seeded?
I haven't read this, but I heard Dubai seeded their clouds, but whoever did it seeded it too much.
They did it too much, and it.
And that's what happened. But
To seed only help if there's no moisture in the air. Seeding doesn't do any good.
They knew when to do it,
I get that.
and they overdid it.
I'm just saying.
I'm
as-
not knowledgeable enough to talk about it.
I say.
No, we're not. We're not
none of
knowledgeable
us
to talk
are.
about anything.
No.
This is speculation. Obviously, we're not stating facts.
I just think that they do seed, but it's kind of like blaming everything on global warming. It's just easy. Whenever there's severe weather, people blame it on global warming. And now the new one is they seeded the clouds. And nobody has any new information. Just people are just making shit out
Just
of
so
their
you
ass.
know, Steele, Andrew just bought a Tesla. He went.
I
So
did.
I don't believe anything Andrew says ever for the rest of his life, and he's an Android user.
Hey, I bought a Tesla not to save the environment because it doesn't. I bought it because it fits my lifestyle better.
There you go.
But you know, I really think that it's time to sway.
And it's
because
fast.
when I don't feel safe in my house, I feel like they're going to try and do another pandemic. I feel like, you know, because you know the taxes are significant. They're they're supposedly sending all this money to Ukraine. Like we don't even have some places. The streets are shit, and California is just a shithole. So where's all these taxes going? Why are we losing billions of dollars? Oh, never mind. It's going overseas, or it's going to this. You know, I don't get why
Most of the money-
taxes don't taxes go to the street?
No. So here's
Taxes
the thing.
go to
here's the
fixing the
problem is
environment.
administrative. The administrative cost of doing business now is so high. That's why all of our lives are getting bloatedly crazy. Because if let's say you want to get a homeless person a shower, okay, you think you could go get some water, get a little truck, and put it. But there's 150 administrative people that touch that job
Yeah, 'cause
to
they're all
get it there.
getting paid.
So each shower is like $10,000 for each person to take a shower because the administrative costs of hiring all these people that are making hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. And in reality, the $1 million that you put towards the homeless, only probably about 10,000 actually physically gets to the homeless.
So isn't that called cleaning the swamp or whatever, where you get rid of
Well,
all those unnecessary hands
yeah,
trying to put their hands in
yeah,
the
but
pot?
they're not trying. It's just the
Swamp's the
government
system.
Yeah, the swamp is the entire system.
Okay.
But the problem with the government, it's so bloated that you need
Inefficient.
regulators, regulating
very
regulators,
inefficient.
regulating regulators.
There's a lot of people making money on it.
Yes.
Oh, absolutely.
Not anybody you probably know.
No, it's just people, probably a lot of these Teslas that are driving, they have these jobs, and all they do is they, sit at their keyboard and they're just doing little things and they don't get really anything done, but they're the ones that are doing this. And
But
it's
what
just-
concerns me is San Francisco's problem is so obvious.
Yeah.
LA's problem is so obvious.
It is.
And
It's so
we have the
logically-
ways and the means to correct all these things.
Why-
But we just don't do it.
Well, it's
So there you go.
too
Because
much
the
money.
money
That's the
train,
answer.
the money
There's too
train
much
will
money in it.
end.
But what I just said should let you figure it out.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
just don't do it.
Yeah, they don't.
But
Well, they
we
don't want
look
to.
as
don't
the
wanna do it.
laughing stock of the world,
well, but
California.
Somebody
we
doesn't
look
want
like
to do
idiots.
it. Yeah.
If they solve homeless, then there's probably 4,000 to 10,000 people that are getting paid really, really well are out of a job. So they have no actual motivation to solve the problem. They just want to get money to pretend to solve the problem, because if they do actually solve the problem, they'd be out of a job. So,
Let's talk about happy things.
Anyway, oh my God. I'm like,
I know.
I'm
like-
depressed now.
I know. I'm like, do we have any vodka? Oh, wait. Okay, hold on. Should I just open it? I fuck this. I'm just going to.
The way I do it, I just live day by day. You just like,
Yeah.
I just really assume and have confidence that good people will figure it out. I
hope
do. I
it's-
have confidence because you have to have confidence in your country. So I have confidence in our country. We're still a baby on the planet as far as
Yeah, true. That's very
the
true.
democratic system is concerned.
Yeah,
so
you're
we're
right.
very
This
young
experiment
democracy.
of democracy.
God, I like this outlook, Steele.
Yeah,
This is a positive outlook.
You really got to see there's good people, there's bad people.
Yeah,
it's just
true.
like a Star Wars movie.
Isn't that what Too Short?
You got to wait till the movie's over.
Daily Logic Check.
It's kind of funny. I just watched I read this article, and they were talking about how the world's ending. Every election is the worst election in the world. I was reading an article from like 1902.
Doing the same thing.
It's literally sounded exactly like if it was printed today. Mm-hmm.
We're not
Republicans
reinventing the
are ruining
wheel.
the world.
We're like
the Democrats
mice
are ruining
in
the
our
world.
little.
And it literally, this is actually what makes the system work.
That's most of
what we're
humanity,
doing.
if you think about it.
What's
Not
that?
just the United States. Most of humanity.
Yeah.
Now, I mean,
All of humanity has been always overshadowed by a leader. Or
yes, we're the
We've
biggest.
been fighting ever since we landed on the planet.
Yeah.
So.
Ever since we landed, I like it.
Oh my God! Yeah.
We just got to have the faith and, good prevails. And
What did Too Short just say? We just interviewed Too Short on the show here, and he said we were talking about conspiracy theories, and he's like, exactly what you said. He's like, you know what? What did he say? You just got to live your life.
Yeah.
He goes, if you could think this, you could think that, but if you just do good, you do you basically, and stay positive and do right with others, and just do what you do. Then.
But you just, I cross my fingers. There's people in the higher positions that have the power to compensate for the bad decisions. So, and I think they're out there. So.
Yeah, I agree.
And I believe you on the whole. Our society is on a pendulum, and we swing left and right, and we've about as far left as we can get. So it has to come back more towards the middle.
No, our whole country has been a pendulum and hasn't been stuck
Yeah.
one side or the left
I
side.
didn't never thought of it that way.
Yeah.
Like, you're right. So
Yeah.
why am I stressing that we're all going under?
Everybody's stressing because
Because you're at the top of the pendulum now.
and you're scared it's going to
Steele.
keep going.
I'm
Yes.
like,
You'll feel
oh my
better.
God.
It comes down 10 degrees, 20
Okay.
degrees. It'll
Yeah.
be
No,
better.
and same thing with John Paul. He's like, yeah, we're gonna be fine next year. We're gonna be fine. He goes, the sway of power is coming.
Yeah.
He goes, just wait, Elizabeth, because I'm like, do I take my money out of the bank? What do I do?
No,
I'm
I think a lot of people wake up when they see what's happening.
Yeah.
Okay. But everybody kind of doesn't want to be involved. Then when it starts affecting your life, you start getting mad. You're like, wait a minute.
yeah.
So, and that's what's happening right now. A lot of people are hurting with inflation, gas, all those things, energy, cost of living. So when they get mad, luckily our country allows us to vote. Now we just have to cross our fingers. Our voting system has integrity to it.
Yeah.
I blame.
That's the scary part.
Yeah, the voting system has integrity. I don't think it does. I don't think it does.
That's what we need to focus on, I think.
I think it's completely flawed. Our voting system.
That's in my opinion. If we were going to focus any energy,
It should be on
It doesn't
voting.
matter if let's say it is actually, if I was like a professional and that was my job, it was integrity. In my opinion, you need to convince the layman that it has integrity, which is me. Like
What concerns me is both parties really don't talk about it much.
yeah, they don't.
When right now
'Cause they
one
know
of
it's
them
corrupt.
should be. I don't know if it's what side, but and with our technology today and eye prints and thumbprints and eye scans and passcodes and callbacks and all these things. I mean, I forget my passwords every day and I can get a new one,
Yeah.
but I can't get what I want without a password, but I can get a password and they know it's me.
Yeah.
So if that works, like
Yeah.
on
How
a
do
little
we
phone,
not have?
Yeah,
it should work without, mailing in a 1920 stamp on a letter
So
to say I voted
why
for
is it that
somebody.
both parties aren't talking about it?
Well,
What do you
you
speculate?
can,
Because they're both corrupt.
there you go.
He goes,
there you go. Nobody wants.
You said it. I
well,
didn't say it.
Republicans say, Democrats lie, cheat, and steal. And then Democrats say Republicans are bullies, they're assholes. And remember when who stormed the White House? Somebody stormed the White House.
That was on the January 6th.
Did Republicans storm or did
yeah.
liberals?
That was Republicans. Yeah.
Oh, they claimed Republicans did?
Where
They
were you? Were you here that day or what?
Was they where?
You're on the planet?
Well, I mean, I'm not political.
She doesn't pay attention.
You don't remember what January 6th was?
When they stormed the White House,
Oh.
it was the final vote to
Still, if I pay attention to
ratify
every...
Biden.
No, they just wanted, they felt Trump was getting them excited.
Oh, yeah,
but
yeah, yeah.
January 6th was the reason why it was January 6th is because that's the day Congress actually formally chooses the president, which was Joe Biden.
Yeah.
But also, I heard that all those people that are storming anything get paid by one of the political parties to go be assholes. So they're all getting like $200 a day, or what was it, $50 a day?
No one's ever offered me money to
Like,
do
give
something
me, I'll
cool like
take
that.
$50 a day to be on a party or two. Like,
Well, it's not what either party says. So I think it was to me, I think it was a peaceful protest that's allowed.
right,
And it got out of hand, but I think it got out of hand because of agitators
right.
Yeah.
that were placed there that got everybody
yeah, they got paid
riled
to be
up.
there. And,
And they showed the police letting them in the doors and things
Yeah,
like
that was
So
weird. The whole
they've
thing.
done the whole investigation. I think the truths are coming out now as we speak, with different sides of the story. And so, again,
but they-
just got to
they-
let the pendulum come back.
They showed the one guy that's at like every rally. They fly him everywhere. He's like a main guy that pumps people up to like rebel. And they literally showed him at all these different places. He's hired from somebody who hires these people.
The same thing happened on, I think, all the campuses. I think at least the third or most of them are agitators, not students.
Yeah,
So-
they're
Wow.
just paid to basically.
Well, give me a reason to protest. I'll
Yeah,
be there.
I got nothing better to do. You pay for my
crap thing to do.
You pay for my plane ticket, me to get to this college, and I'll take whatever side you want.
Wow, unbelievable. I mean, I think that with a lot of entrepreneurs, I'm hoping that we do swing where it's more self-sufficiently, it's more, the government's more operated towards helping young entrepreneurs, helping people feel that if they have a dream, they can achieve it. Because right now, a lot of people are like, I can't achieve my dream because the government. It's like,
Well, I think the
Easy
left
blame.
and the Democrats really want dependency from people.
yeah.
Where I think if there was somebody in government that, goes back to the capital theme that we got here on, it's to encourage people to get a business, reward those that succeed, but everything is opposite here.
Because I
The
think
more money you make, the more taxes you pay.
it seems like right now,
percentage-wise.
they want us,
No incentives.
right, they want us, they want people to rely on like those government checks that they were giving during COVID. Like basically you're
Enough
like
money.
this puppet underneath them and you just pay taxes. Like they can't figure out where billions of dollars go in taxes, but they know where that $135 went. They know where your $135 is. So like it seems like we're all just working, they're trying to get people relying
But
upon
you know,
the
when you
government
say
system.
they, you actually mean us. We're all humans and we're all the same people. So when you talk about they, you're actually just talking about us.
No. They as in the government.
I know,
people.
but the government is not another person. It is not a thing. It's us. It's just a whole bunch of people.
Well, we
People
elect our
are
government.
we elect
people.
them though.
I know, but
So
what I'm saying
they
is they're
elected
us.
officials.
But elections now are won by popularity and not by intelligence.
I thought
People
they're won
that
by
are in the
money.
office.
They are won by money.
Is that
Well,
popularity? Is that what
I'd
you're-
rather have somebody with a resume be in office, not somebody that got a popular vote.
Yeah.
And that's kind of hard. How do you do it?
That
though?
experience, you can't.
Yeah, you can't, because then you're like, who's the one that
Back when we
determines?
started, there were farmers and things like that we wanted as is the voice of the people. So that's what we have.
Mm-hmm.
But in today's age, I'd at least get a resume up there first
Yeah.
and have like 5 years experience in something.
Who do we? But they got to do something. They got to have a job.
No, just I have somebody that's backing me and I can get more votes than anybody else, but I've never done anything in my life and I'll win. Yeah, go ahead.
Wait,
Be in
who-
charge of the country.
Yeah, not just with our budget. Be in charge of our budget. Just give everything to Ukraine.
Whatever it is. But there's a lot of Congress people like that popular vote and their plants.
Well, obviously, we live in a state that's really run by. Anyway, we'll go. That's a whole nother
Again,
conversation.
I go back to the pendulum. I have faith that the pendulum will
Yeah, I
come
do
back.
too.
And you just go day by day and you keep your nose to the ground, kind of mind your own business and speak up when
The
there's an opportune time.
The
I
way I
agree.
look at it, the
I
way I
agree.
tell people who are stressing out about all these political, I was like, okay, if you turn your phone off and you don't watch TV and you go to the gym and you go to the grocery
Your mood
store,
will
and
increase.
You go, is your
You'll be in a
life
better
is your life that weird? Is it that crazy? Now, if you were in downtown Seattle, downtown LA, you would actually think it's a disaster.
Yeah.
But the majority of the country is still really, really, really nice.
Yeah.
And very little
Well,
political.
the news magnifies things.
Yes,
So,
I mean in these big cities, but in general, most of the people I know, like my daughter, she's 12 and she's already talking politics, which is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Like I didn't know politics. I was in my 20s.
yeah.
Like
Because
social
she's on her
media.
phone all
Yeah.
day
Social media
long.
has that.
so, I was like, when you
She's
go
getting
out,
on TikTok.
And
you
she's
go-
being fed.
yes, when you go out,
Yeah.
is your day? Is it crazy? If you turn off your phone, do you think the world is falling apart? Look, she's like, well, no. I was like, exactly. So stop letting your phone dictate you and realize the truth.
I
So-
learned that from you.
Yeah.
Because I was really thinking, because I was going down a rabbit hole with TikTok, because they start feeding you different, this is happening. So then you start believing it. So they're really good at the algorithms trying to make you, they're feeding you what their agenda.
Yeah.
So I was kind of, I had broken up. I'm single now. I'm like in bed watching TikTok, and I started getting freaked out. I'm like, oh my God, is the planet gonna blow up? What's happening? Then Andrew's like, did you go to the grocery store today? And I'm like, no. And he goes, get out of your house, drive down the street. And I did. I'm like, he's right.
Everything is working like clockwork.
Your TV media feeds you this agenda.
But don't get too complacent. I wouldn't say that.
No,
Just
but I'm
stay on
saying
your
is,
toes.
what I'm saying is,
I'm not. Yeah, I'm not
saying. What I'm saying though is, if you look at your phone, you think the world's falling apart.
Yeah, you
go
get
out.
memorized,
The world is falling apart.
Yeah.
You go outside and you see it. But in reality, you don't see the world falling apart. You see the world still humming pretty good. But why is it when we look at our phones, it looks like it's falling apart?
Yeah.
That means somebody has an agenda, and that's what you need to figure out. Because our phones are telling us one thing.
You should be a phone therapist.
I'm on Instagram. All I see is people cooking.
Really?
Yeah, I have 100 recipes now. I'm so much fun. I got 300 different ways to cook a chicken, man. So
man, we need to cook chicken then.
Well, unfortunately, mine's all full of Tesla stuff because I've been researching Tesla
But I cook a lot, so.
You do?
Yeah, I get that.
didn't know
I used
that.
to get a lot of fights all the time. I don't know where that came from. But now I'm like people cooking.
Oh man, I want your feed.
Instagram has the best
I got
videos of
dogs.
people cooking. It's great.
Oh, okay. So I have horses and I have rescue animals. You have cooking. No, I have aliens too.
And you
I
have just Tesla on your phone?
Tesla, always cute animal videos. I love cute animal videos.
And mines in Africa that are lithium batteries? You have that?
Those
Well,
videos.
you own a Tesla.
No, absolutely. No, absolutely.
Oh my God, Andrew definitely went on to the other side. And that's another thing is like, you don't know what you believe anymore. And as far as, food you're putting in your body, because now on TikTok it says, Bill Gates took over the orange fields. The oranges that you eat, if they have this sticker on them, you need to look for that sticker. You shouldn't be eating that because it's a altered DNA orange and it's going to turn you into a vegetable. I don't know. Like,
Not a fruit?
A fruit. Okay, a fruit.
There you go.
Hey, so you went to, anyway, the long or the short of it, it is whatever it is.
Day by day, pendulum, relax, smell the flowers.
We're good.
Stay off social media.
Yeah.
And just hope that the good people are out there.
They
and
are.
if you're one of the good people, then get involved.
Yeah, keep working hard. Keep our country strong.
Daily Logic Check.
So you said that, Yard House only went through not only, but went through the 9/11 thing and now you sold it. And there's a lot of people, I think right now the atmosphere is people are starting businesses back. And
it's just identifying niches and opportunities. I mean, that's going to happen every day.
Yeah.
Opportunities open up every day. Just got to be in the right place, right time. You got to be ready to answer the door when you open it. Like
you ever thought about opening another one?
I keep trying. I get right up to the point where I really want to do it. Then I remember how hard it is. And then I compare it to what I'm doing now.
Because you're really comfortable. Because you're really
I'm really relaxed. I'm almost falling asleep every day.
You look good.
I'm relaxed though.
Yeah, your face looks.
But I know
relaxed.
what it takes to open a restaurant. It's a full-time babysitter, and it drives you crazy. There's a lot of work involved.
I know.
And when you get to the point where you're succeeding, it owns you.
Yeah, if you're succeeding, that's your life.
Well,
I love people that open restaurants, the newbies. They go, and they're so excited in the beginning. They get it built, they design it, they hire everything.
Yeah.
They bring in the food, they have opening day, the big party, and then 3 weeks later, it hits them like, I got to do this for 10 more years. Yeah.
Oh my God.
And so pretty soon, it's not that excitement. So when you get into a new business, you got to really say, is that something I want to do for a long time?
Yeah.
But sometimes they say, restaurants, you don't own restaurants, they own you. And it's true. I spent 80 hours a week, 100 hours a week at the Yard House. It was my whole life. So.
That's so many hours.
Who was it that Mario, I don't know what restaurant groups they have, all the bars.
A lot of local bars around
Stack
here.
Bar, all the local bars.
Uh-huh.
They look up to you and they watched, I think they watched your episode because I ran into him at the gym. I'm
you
like,
did?
hey,
Yeah.
do you want to be? And he's like, oh, absolutely. You want to come on the podcast? And I would love to sit the two of you down just because you could tell they've got a lot going on. I think they're in the phase of trying to figure out where they're going with their businesses.
Yeah, well, he created different themed restaurants as a group in one location. Yeah. I did that in Denver.
Yeah, okay.
But then when I came here, I said, I want to do one concept and refine it and make it better and grow it in different locations.
Yeah, okay.
That way, when you come to work, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
In Denver, I had 8 different types of restaurants.
Yeah.
A nightclub, and you have all these different things going on.
Yeah.
Where now it's just refine, same thing.
Huh.
So that's where I changed when I came out from
Change
Denver.
your
I have a lot
format.
of ideas for restaurants.
Right.
And Harold, my partner, is the one that says, Steele, we're just going to focus on Yard House this time.
Smart. Okay.
And he did me a favor. He did everybody a favor by saying, just focus on this.
Yeah.
Don't start doing different
They
concepts.
should do that with Stag Bar. Stag Bar is such a great concept.
Yeah,
They
it
just
is.
like there needs to be more
But I
than
think
one Stag Bar.
I can't speak for him, but I think
Yeah.
Mario just wants to stay in this area. He likes
Yeah.
this area,
Yeah.
but he kind of monopolizes. But at a certain point, you're going to start cannibalizing your own bubusinesses. So
Yeah. Yeah.
'cause there's only so much to go around. If you have so many seats, so many people,
Yeah.
and you can't fill all the seats, then all of a sudden you're competing against yourself. But
Well,
I think he's done a great job. and
Yeah,
all the
absolutely. They've
places
done
are
an
fun.
amazing
And people
job.
love them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you ever go back to Denver and hang out? Or
Not really. I mean, I live, my house is beautiful. I love it overlooking the ocean. And I sold all my homes, like I said. I had 6 houses I sold.
Yeah.
And I'm just here now. And I traded a couple houses in for a boat.
So basically, I know Andrew. Everybody knows Steele now. Like literally, he just he doesn't really use social media, but when he does post, it's like this
pictures.
gorgeous view, like if he's in his tequila tower or he's on a boat. You're like,
Well, views, pictures.
you
Yeah,
worked,
he's
you
working
worked hard your
hard.
entire life.
Very relaxing
but
photos.
your son's a DJ. Okay, so can I talk a little bit about your son because it's
Yeah.
so cool. So your son.
How old is he?
20. He'll be 21 in August.
Okay, I always make fun of, everybody wants to be a DJ, but he really is a DJ.
Oh, but
and he's doing well.
I remember I gave him his first board when he was like 15.
Yeah.
And he just went right off with it and loves it. And he still loves it, but the music's in him. You can feel it. You can tell.
Just like you.
Yeah, like music does something for me, but classic rock, but the music is different now.
Yeah.
But he still feels the same thing I felt.
Yeah.
So, but he's good. He loves doing what he's doing. How long he'll do it, you never know.
Yeah. Is he going to business school?
ASU, yeah, business school. And he'll be, he's like halfway through his sophomore year right now.
Yeah. That's
He
exciting.
didn't get all the credits from Minnesota. So he's like a half year behind, but he'll make it
Oh,
up.
that sucks. So when he transferred, some of them
They
didn't
didn't
transfer.
give it all of them, yeah.
Yeah, but
I did that when I went to college. I accidentally didn't do it right.
Yeah.
And then when you transfer, the credits don't go with you. You're like, that was a hard class.
Well, it's a waste of money too.
Yeah.
does he ever want to get into restaurants or no?
It's too early to say. I mean, I knew at 16 I wanted to open a restaurant.
Okay.
So, and I went to school to open a restaurant, and I worked in restaurants to open a restaurant.
Yeah.
And I opened my first restaurant when I was 24. And then I saw how fun nightclubs were, and then I had a nightclub when I was 28.
Wow.
And
Well-
then Yard House happened when I was 36. So that's when it opened.
So after listening to your story last, I always want to own my own jazz club. So
Mm-hmm.
and I tried actually getting a spot here and opening a speakeasy big jazz club where
Mhm.
you'd walk into
What
a bar.
happened?
Well, I couldn't get per square foot the pricing I wanted. There was all these issues with it. It was actually in the same building as Winston's Jewelry.
Down here on the corner?
yeah, on the corner.
I remember we were telling you about that.
Remember?
We were
And
talking
I
about
loved
that,
it.
yeah.
I want a jazz
No,
club.
Newport could do a great jazz club. I went
I
to
want
a
a jazz
lot
club
of them
so
when I
bad.
lived in Denver, down in basements.
Yeah,
and
I
there's
love
3 or 4
them.
guys in the corner.
I love them.
Yeah.
I want a jazz bar.
They
I
don't
want a
have them
beautiful
here.
singer. I want a beautiful food where they can just dine and,
Mm-hmm.
nice booths where they could enjoy the show. And
Kind of like that one. Remember when we went
Did
to
you want to make
London?
money or no?
exactly.
There
That's
you
the
go.
problem. You're basically just doing it as a passion with cigar bars.
But some formulas don't work. I mean, it's really hard now with labor costs,
Yeah, I
rental
know.
costs. Those 2 things
I know. Oh, no, I didn't do it. And I think
forces you to have a lot of sales. is
the
what it
universe
does.
saved me from losing my butt. But
Yeah, because you would have had to. You wouldn't have wanted to spend the 100 hours
yeah.
a week for the next 10 years. You would have. You don't have that much time.
Do you think if I opened just a simple cigar bar with like drinks and
Still a lot of work.
jazz?
Still a lot of work.
Really?
You would have
That's
to.
my dream is to just be old lady singing jazz in my own little jazz bar.
You
And that's
can't,
not
but
If you
happening.
can afford it, do it.
You'll be losing money, but you can do it.
Buy the building. It's like just putting a deposit down on your business. You'll get it back after it closes.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Buy the building, don't rent.
Oh my God. So you don't think you're ever going to do another restaurant? So
I
you're saying
will.
you don't want to open a jazz bar with
I'm
me?
looking in. I might go out to Scottsdale and look.
Okay. Remember last time
Excuse
you
me.
were on, you said
Right
you,
now, California for me personally is just too high a mountain to climb right now.
Yeah, I agree.
Too many regulations, labor cost. uncertainties, cost of real estate,
I was going to say, what do you think?
healthcare, litigation. I can go on and on.
That's
and
why you
on.
want to. So that's why you're thinking Arizona.
Yeah, I'd rather go to a state. It could be a red or blue state, but a state that really encourages business and kind of welcomes you.
Yeah.
And I'm used to a lot of places I did Yard House where they actually welcomed you. The city welcomed you and
Trying to get you to come in.
Yes. What can we do for you?
Do you think California's going to go back to that? Because, I mean, this was the wealthiest state ever, and now we're just
Still
broke.
is.
Well, again, there's some deep-rooted, intentional things going on.
When does Newsom get out of office? Is it?
I don't know what the tenures of governors here. Some governors can keep going.
I think he's done in
Here
2
they
years,
got
right?
limit.
I think it's a 2-term.
I'm
But
2
the
or
terms
3.
are 5
I
years.
looked it up once. I think it was either 2 or 3.
Yeah, I don't know.
He just isn't. He had one more year last year, or this year.
Texas, they can keep going.
Oh, really?
Washington, they can keep going to where I live.
I don't know what California is. But I just think we need, somebody that really encourages capitalism and business and runs they say this is a huge state with, like it's this 4th largest economy or 7th.
I think they should
the
bring
world,
back. They should bring back ice skating rinks and roller skating rinks, Andrew, and in California, and outdoor workout gyms.
Well, that will save the state.
People don't want to go outside anymore. They want to
No,
stay
they
at their
do want to go
phones.
outside. They're telling us not to go outside. California is supposed to be the sunshine state. Wait, aren't we the sunshine state?
Golden State.
Golden State.
Two-term limit. 4-year 2-term limit.
Yeah, that's right.
So,
I
I mean,
said
he's-
2.5, so it's 2.4. He's on his end of his last term, I think.
Yeah.
Here in a year or two.
Well, once again, Steele, it's been great having you on for the hour.
Yeah. Next time I come back, I'll talk about the Yard House.
We'll get there eventually.
Wait, we did talk about Yard House a little bit.
Talk about the pandemic. We talked about
Okay. Well, I know. Well, that means you're just going to have to keep coming back.
stretch
Hello.
me out.
I know. I am stretching you out because you're my neighbor. I could just keep bringing you on.
All right. Well, it's fun to be here. It's always fun.
Thanks for coming. And I think that the economy is going to change. I think that it's going to change for the best. And I think that entrepreneurs should still stay positive, right?
Oh, yeah. I'm older, but being young, I'd be really positive, very energetic, going out for it. But now I'm just in a different part of my life where it's more you sit back. But I always hope for the best. And again, I always rely on the pendulum and that there's good people to make good decisions.
And
they're there.
That's the people kept asking me for advice from you. So what advice would you give to somebody starting a business right now, a restaurant or any type of business in general in California?
In
general, not
in
just
California.
No, in general. Sorry,
Anywhere.
Just
do what you believe in. That is like part of your fabric, and be able to devote all the time to make it succeed. And don't take no for an answer. I mean, I had a lot of, "Are you crazy? You'll never open it. It'll never happen." And I said, "I'm going to do it no matter what."
Yeah.
So, but the second time I had to do it to live. The first time it just kind of happened, right?
Yeah.
But the doors opened and I did it, and I didn't know what I was doing until it was all done.
And then you just kept going.
You just wing it. You just do it. You make it happen.
And is there any other secret stories you want to tell us about the Yard House that we don't know? The success? Is there any like hidden stories?
Like what kind of?
I don't know. Like maybe you got cash put in a trunk, and you one of the restaurants needed to have secret funding from like
all the equipment that was put in the Long Beach Yard House got put in there with the expectation of getting paid for it. I didn't pay the guy.
Okay.
But I did pay him a little bit each week until he was paid off. But I remember he said, "Can I have my check?" I go, "I don't have it."
Oh, but it's a fixture now.
Yeah. And he got really mad at me.
Okay.
But,
So there was a little shady business deal.
You eventually paid him
but that's
back.
the only bad intentional thing I did. But that's how I opened.
Yeah,
I didn't have enough money to pay for the equipment. So,
but
I
got
said
paid eventually. So
I said, "I'm not going to pay you till you put it in." So he put it in. It was like $280,000, $300,000.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah. It was all the kitchen equipment,
And then you're like,
not like a refrigerator.
did he try and come back and grab it?
He can't. It's a fixture. It
Oh
goes
my
into the
God.
system. Then I said, "Hey, well, we're open now.
Yeah.
I'm being
And
able
I'll
to
give
generate
you."
some
The
income.
same thing happened on my nightclub. I couldn't pay for the sound system, but I paid the guy $10,000 a week until it was paid off. But Yard House was really close to closing down inside the first year.
Really?
Yeah.
Why? Just because it just cost too much?
The culture, it changed. Yard House didn't know what it was, right?
Yeah.
And so we had I had some managerial problems.
So you did have problems. You weren't just like, because you kind of make it sound like,
The first year was miserable.
Oh,
But
okay.
I really thought inside the first year we wouldn't be open.
Wow.
Yeah, it was
It's
that
most
close.
restaurants, though. Most restaurants barely make it. Like the projected, if you open a restaurant, like the projected, you have like a year.
Yeah. But you have to have a lot of cash and capital to back up all your mistakes and give you some longevity to stay in business until it clicks. You just got to do that. A lot of people are undercapitalized and they can still have a successful business.
Yeah.
But their capital didn't allow them to get over the curve. It's sad. In Denver, I remember I had my first restaurant. I used to have nightmares in my basement. I told you this in the last one. A snowstorm would be coming in.
Yeah.
And then that means nobody's going out for dinner on the weekend, which is my big weekend.
Yeah.
But I got to pay for last weekend's labor. You know what I'm saying? Because that's how thin it is.
Right.
And I'm like, I can barely make it. And it was scary. It's really scary.
Well, yeah.
And so one of your things you asked me to open a new place, that's what I think of. Now I have enough capital now to open up a small bar and not worry about it.
Yeah.
But I'd own the building, no rent. I actually would do it without trying to make money. I would just do it to have fun. So that's what I want to do. I want to create my own living room and have all my friends there. I'll probably do it private.
Well, you
That's
should
how
just do
you
what I'm
do it.
doing here. Just want you start a podcast. Start your own living room.
Well, there's
Have
room
everybody
over here in this unused dining room.
Yeah, we could just
We've used it once.
Well, yeah. Well, now
How about the 5,000 square foot gym over here? You can't see it on TV, but you should see the gym. It is pretty nice though. I like it.
So the lighting got different.
How'd you get 40 pieces of equipment in here?
Hey, I'm trying to get skinnier.
Did you ever turn the camera around and see what's on the other side of the camera? Have you showed anybody? Have you guys seen it yet?
No,
All right.
nobody's seen
Maybe
it
we should
yet.
show it to them.
This is
Whatever.
it. You're seeing everything.
Oh my God.
I'm not going to tell them what's on the other side of the curtain.
Okay, it's gift time. Still,
It's not
even
Monty
though
Hall.
it's gift time again. I'm going to give you some gifts today, and we already have the charity of choice from the first. Well, actually, no, you never picked one. Did you ever figure out a charity that you want to promote on the show?
Yeah, McDonald's.
Okay, never mind.
They're hurting right now.
Whatever. McDonald's
They're going
is,
back to a $5
McDonald's is
meal.
hurting right now.
The $20 meals at McDonald's didn't work out for them.
Here you go, darling. You don't have to open it, but this
All
is
right, thank
this
you
is-
very much.
That's a gift for you. Actually, I'm going to shower you with gifts today. Not only am I going to shower you with Tiffany, there's actually something in the bags.
I just want a free membership to your gym over here.
I did.
Oh my God.
Actually, I want you to pull your boat up.
Who are these people?
Did you
have
eat,
20 people
Did you
working
eat a
out.
gummy, Steele?
What?
Did you eat a gummy? Did you and
No,
Too Short eat a gummy in the driveway?
They got some of that ayahuasca.
I have 3 bags here.
I know.
Pretty cool.
And guess what else?
Do I pick a bag?
No, I gave them all to you.
Thank
and
you.
this for coming
What's
back.
in the white bag?
I got you a black hat now.
Oh, great.
You
No,
actually have to show the hat though. That's one.
No, my son, this is the hottest hat at ASU right now.
See? Right there. Vargas vodka. In the flesh. But no, thank you for coming again today.
You're welcome.
And I can't wait to have you as a regular because we're trying to figure out a format. We don't really know what we're doing. We're just winging it. And
Winging it and having fun.
You're so intriguing and interesting, and you are a fan favorite. So I'm very happy.
Next time, I don't like talking about politics. So next time,
No politics?
yeah,
Okay.
it's hard to pick a side.
I know, right?
If you pick the right side, you just still get shit for it. So.
Well, no, because, okay, so what's interesting about that is I don't understand politics because none of it's making any sense to me. And I try to learn from like
I'd say the
people
most
like,
important thing to do as a person, if you believe in politics, is have an open mind to
Right.
listen
Yeah.
to the person on the other side of the chair from you. You know,
Who you disagree with.
yeah, but most people just close up. I'm right, you're wrong. So that's the biggest problem. But
yeah.
so I'm a conservative Republican, but I will listen to anybody, and I
Yeah.
respect their opinions.
No, you do.
I do.
yeah.
I really do. And I want to understand how they think. And then I'm not going to get in an argument with them. There's
Right.
nothing to argue about.
But
I
isn't
like-
that how it used
It's
to
more
be?
a discussion. Yeah, it used to be a
I like
discussion.
people trying
Now
to
it's
convince
like,
me,
can't talk.
convince me that I'm wrong. I have no problem. I'll always
Or
admit
just
if
try to
I'm-
understand what
Or yeah.
their side is. You don't have to
Yeah.
convince me on anything, but if my light bulb goes on when you tell me something that makes sense, then my light bulb comes
But
on.
how come the culture is so angry right now about all of it? I don't get
Well,
it.
like your brother said, there's a lot of division being
Sown.
introduced into our system.
Well, next time we won't
Intentional
talk
division.
politics with you. What should we talk about? The yacht club?
Pretty boats.
Actually, opening day was last
I'll come in
weekend.
with like a brown bag on and talk about politics, like the unknown politician.
Actually, that would be great. Or, a secret name online or whatever. A secret troll.
Well, you can have me in a hood with a distorted voice.
No, we
yeah,
want
I'll
to talk
sit here
about
with
that.
that.
Yeah.
No, we'll put
I'll
you in
change my
dark,
voice with a
dark
hood on.
light, change his voice.
Yeah, with a wig on. Well, those Republicans, you know.
I think next time we should probably have, because John Paul wants to come on and talk to smart people as well.
Yeah, let's do John Paul.
Can I get you and John
It's
Paul
an hour
on here?
discussion, and we have to do.
What would you guys talk about? Just
12
random?
shots
Gotta do 12 shots.
in an hour.
He
Wow,
would
you guys
outdrink
would be-
I bet you he would outdrink you. I
No,
don't
let's
know.
just do it. So, what is that? One shot every 5 minutes?
Yeah.
You want to do that? Would you do that?
Let's see who's standing, John Paul or me.
Oh my God.
Actually, that would be a good segment. Luke,
Yeah.
can we do that? Are we allowed to do that?
You take that.
We can fix it in post.
We can fix it.
It's
I'm
called
on the
12
floor
shot.
puking.
The tequila 12 shot discussion.
Yeah, no, that would be actually
1
pretty-
hour, 12 shots.
Yeah, no. Oh my God,
That's called
can you imagine? He's
alcohol
tiny.
poisoning.
He's not,
That's alcohol poisoning.
No, but just see how the discussion changes. It'd be great.
Actually,
Yeah.
yeah. Because he's independent. I mean, I guess it doesn't matter if you're independent or Republican, does it?
Independent Republican.
No, that has
Democrat.
nothing to do with politics. It just has a
Just
discussion.
drinking?
of 12
Just a drinking party?
Yeah, just see what happens when you talk to somebody after that 12 shots.
Oh, yeah. Actually, we should do that, like a
See if the
drinking
discussion
session.
changes.
I don't want to talk to my friends when they've had 12 shots. I'm like, shut up
Andrew,
and get
we
in the
can
car.
just sit
Just go
over
to a
there while
bar.
these
I'm
two
like,
just get
I'm
hammered.
like, you get my friends that have 12 shots, I'm like, shut up and get in the car.
Then we'll put Luke over here. Peyton doesn't drink.
You could do a
so
show in
we'll-
the Tequila Tower.
Oh, yeah. That's a good idea. We could do an all-location shoot in your tequila tower. What?
That's so much work.
Hey, whatever.
A couple of handhelds.
Yeah.
I just put all these new tequilas
She doesn't
up.
do easy.
This is my little mini podcast studio. You like it? I just
I feel like I'm next to a gym, though. So.
What the fuck ever, Steele? No, but can we have a barbecue here?
You wonder why they don't pan over that way to show the gym. So it's
Don't
okay.
tell everybody. There's a bunch of naked guys over there. There's a bunch
That's
of
why I'm
naked guys
pointing
over
this
there.
way.
Now you're lying.
They're fanning me right now. You just can't tell because I'm single now. So if there's any eligible gym buffer, what am I talking about?
You are
I'm
just
trying to sell
rambling.
myself. It's not working.
Nope, fail.
Thanks for watching. Until next time, Steele Platt, thanks for being here.
You're welcome. Thanks.
Can't wait till we do some shots with you with John Paul DeJoria.
12 shots.
12 shots.
12 shots, 12 minutes. 12 shots, 12.
Thank
No,
you for
1 hour,
coming.
12 shots.
12 shots. Thanks for coming, hon.
Thank you
Peace,
for
love, and
coming.
happiness.
Daily Logic Check.
If you're loving the show, click like, subscribe, and support us on Patreon. Peace, love, and happiness.
Daily Logic Check.